With this new indicator, we can replace and improve upon multiple indicators you're probably using or familiar with. This one indicator has the capability to replace Bollinger Bands and Keltner Bands, along with being a powerful moving average that can be more effective than the EMA and SMA when trading. If you're not familiar with how to use Bollinger Bands already, don't worry, we're also going to talk about the strategy with this indicator and how to properly use it. To begin, let's look at the first part of the indicator and see if it's really a better alternative to the EMA and other smoothers. Understanding this will tie in later as to why it can also replace two other indicators we'll talk about. With this filter, we are able to get less lag for the equivalent smoothing an EMA would provide us. The benefits of this are pretty clear. Less lag is always preferable, but we don't want to sacrifice the smoothing of the filter. With the Ultimate Smoother filter, we can get better responsiveness and smoothing. Increasing the period of the filter introduces more lag, but makes the filter more robust to noise. Since this filter is more responsive than a regular moving average, we are able to push it farther without introducing a significant amount of lag. You can see how it turns sharply while filtering out noise in the market. But is it actually better than the EMA? This is an EMA compared to the Ultimate Smoother. If I increase the length of the EMA to filter out noise, you can see we introduce a noticeable amount of lag. If I decrease the length, the EMA picks up a lot of noise compared to the Ultimate Smoother filter. The Ultimate Smoother consistently outperforms the EMA as a filter for the market. Okay, now that we have an impressive smoothing filter, how is it possible to replace Keltner Channels and Bollinger Bands, and how do we use it? Let's talk about Bollinger Bands first. The idea behind Bollinger Bands is very simple. Basically, we take a moving average and use it as a basis to create an upper and lower band. This is accomplished by taking the standard deviation of the price and then adding it to the basis moving average for the upper band and subtracting it from the moving average for the lower band. The multiplier just controls what the standard deviation is multiplied by before it is used to create the bands. Increasing this number makes the bands wider. This is the same concept used to create the bands in the new Ultimate Bands indicator as well. We'll talk about the strategy for all these band style indicators in a minute, but next, let's take a look at Keltner Channels. It should start to make sense how Bollinger Bands could be improved. Since they're based off a simple moving average, why couldn't we use a more advanced moving average for better results? Keltner Channels are very similar to Bollinger Bands. They just use slightly different methods. Instead of a simple moving average for the basis, it uses an exponential moving average. If you're not familiar with the differences, check out some of my videos on moving averages. The upper and lower bands are also created a bit differently. Instead of standard deviation, we use the average true range to create them. Just like the Bollinger Bands and the new indicator we're about to talk about, they have a multiplier for the upper and lower bands, which just makes the bands wider. One thing should be clear. A better filter for the market will also lead to the bands performing better, since the bands are based off of the filter. This is where the Ultimate Smoother we talked about earlier comes in. We use that for a basis for the bands instead of an EMA or SMA. This is the Ultimate Bands indicator. It uses the Ultimate Smoother to create an upper and lower band. You can see the channel changes color sometimes. This indicates a buy or sell signal. Whenever the price closes outside of the bands, we consider it to be a sign of significant momentum in that direction. If the price closes outside of the lower band, the channel turns red and there must be a lot of pressure in that direction. If price closes outside of the upper band, it turns green, signaling momentum to the upside. There's one very important note when we use this strategy though. If large price movements are not leading to continued momentum in that direction, this strategy will fail. If the market is consolidating and the bands are contracting to be very narrow, it doesn't take much momentum for a new candle to close outside of them. In this case, the market does not continue in the direction that the candle closed outside of. You need to be aware of this behavior and the fact that a short burst of momentum does not always lead to continued market move. You can apply any other strategy you find to use with the bands to this indicator or make up your own. Along with that, you can still use the Ultimate Smoother indicator by itself and turn off the band plotting if you like. This indicator was originally created by John Ehlers. I'll leave a link to the paper for it in the description. If you want to add this indicator to your chart, I've made it available for anyone to add to their TradingView chart. Just use the link in the description and click on the blue button with the star and the indicator will appear in your favorites where you can put it on your chart. If you don't have a TradingView account, you can sign up for free with the link below. If you're interested in more advanced indicators, check out the Quantifica Patreon, where you can get access to the entire library of all current and future premium Quantifica indicators, link in the description. If you found this video useful, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe.